Today we will talk about slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is what you're used to hearing as function form. Y is by itself equals m, which we know stands for slope, x plus b. So the m is the slope always as a fraction, so you know what the rise is and what the run is when you're graphing. And b is your y-intercept. This is where the point hits the y-axis. So here's an example. If I have a slope of 0.75 and I have a y-intercept of 3, to write this in slope-intercept form, we would say y equals m as a fraction, because we want it as rise 3 over 4 run, x plus 3. So my slope 0.75 is the same thing as 3 over 4x, and my y-intercept b is positive 3. Okay, so write an equation of the line whose slope is negative 2 and whose y-intercept is 5. So the equation would be y equals negative 2x plus 5. Now, because it's easier to graph it as a fraction so we know exactly what our rise and run is, remember any whole number we can just put over 1. So we know that we rise negative 2 and move over 1. Okay, so my slope is negative 2 over 1 and my y-intercept is positive 5. So the way we plot this is we start on the y-axis at our y-intercept. So because the y-intercept is 5, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and mark my first point. Now, from this point, I can use this as my initial point. My rise is down 2 over 1. And now I can continue from this point, down 2 over 1. Remember, it's a constant change, so down 2 over 1. And then you can connect your line, and there you have your graph. Let's look at another example. Write an equation of the line whose slope is 0.5 and whose y-intercept is negative 3. Well, I can say in fraction form, y equals 1/2 x minus 3. So my slope is positive 1/2. My rise would be 1 and my run would be 2. And my y-intercept is negative 3. So to plot this, I'm going to start at negative 3, where I'm hitting the y-axis. And from this point, I would go up 1 and to the right 2. Up 1 and to the right 2. Okay, you can continue this, and there you have your graph. Okay, now you're going to try some on your own. So the equation is written for you, y equals 4x minus 3. Pause the video here, write your slope, your y-intercept, and graph it. Okay, you should have said that your slope is 4, and you can say 4 over 1 so you know your rise over run, and your y-intercept is negative 3. Now to plot this, you should have had your first point on negative 3 on the y-axis, and from there, because you have a positive slope, you should have gone up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. Let's continue one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, up and to the right 1. Okay, should have connected your line and drawn arrows to show that it continues on forever at this rate. Let's try one more. Now you have an equation written in standard form, 3x plus 2y equals 8. What you want to do is write this in function form first by isolating y. And once you do that, then you can discover what your slope and y-intercept is to help you graph this. Pause the video here. You should have first subtracted 3x on both sides. Once you subtract 3x, then you should have divided by 2 on all sides. You would have ended up with y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 4 when everything got divided by 2. So you could have said that your slope is negative 3 over 2 and your y-intercept is 4. So to plot this, you should have had your first point on positive 4 on the y-axis. And from there, you should have gone down 3 and to the right 2. Okay, and to continue down 3 and to the right 2. So this shows you that you have a negative slope when your line points in this direction, going on forever. Okay, now I'm going to show you something else. Sometimes you're not given the y-intercept, but you have the slope. Having the slope alone is not enough to graph a line. So here's a way you can do this to figure out what the y-intercept is. Number 1, substitute the slope into the equation y equals mx plus b. So basically, substitute in for m. Then, use the point x comma y that's given to you by substituting into slope-intercept form to help you solve for b. And finally, write a slope-intercept form so that you can graph. Let's look at an example. So the slope is negative 2, and the point 2 comma 7 is on the line. So step 1, I'm going to substitute in my slope for m, and I don't know what my y-intercept is. That's what I want to find. Now, I'm given the point 2 comma 7, which means 2 comma 7 is somewhere on this line. So we can solve for b. Y is 7 equals negative 2 times x is 2 plus b. Well, now I have 7 equals negative 4 plus b. And to get b by itself, I can add 4 on both sides, giving me 11 equals b. Now, to write this in slope-intercept form, now that I know what b is, I can say y equals negative 2x, that was the slope I was given, plus 11, and there I have it in slope-intercept form. Now you're going to try one. So you're told that the slope is 2 and that the point 1 comma negative 3 is on the line. Write this equation in slope-intercept form and then graph it. Pause the video here. You should have started with y equals 2x plus b. Substitute in for y and then substitute in for x to help you solve for b. When you simplify this, you should have had negative 3 equals 2 plus b, and then subtract 2 on both sides to isolate b, leaving you with negative 5 equals b. So when you wrote your equation in slope-intercept form, you should have had y equals 2x minus 5, because your y-intercept is negative 5. To graph this, you should have gone down 5 on the y-axis, because that's your y-intercept, or where it crosses the y-axis. And this you can look at as 2 over 1. So that means you should have gone up 2 to the right 1, and continue up 2 to the right 1, and so on, to give you a line, to give you a line that looks like that. Okay, you're done now, so you can close your computer and plug it in. Nice job.